Shakespeare's Histories, The King's Shadow, Episode 4. Henry Bolingbroke has been installed as King Henry IV for 2 years. His guilt over how he got the crown, however, remains. In Wales, Owen Glendower has been leading revolts for independence from the English crown. In answer to Glendower's defiance, Henry has sent troops under the command of Edmund Mortimer, the Earl of March. Mortimer, a descendant of Edward III, is the closest other claimant to the English throne. In the north, the powerful House of Percy, led by the Earl of Northumberland, holds the border against Scottish attacks. At home, the English nobility are reconciled under Henry's rule. He has found a trusted ally in the Countess of Westmoreland, who now sits on his council.
Saturday. Idum regem.
So shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frighted peace to pant and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. March all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his wielder. Therefore, friends, as far as to the sepulchre of Christ, forthwith a power of English shall we levy, to chase these pagans in those holy fields, o'er whose acres walked those blessed feet, which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. Tell me, my gentle cousin Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience.
My liege, this haste was hot in question, and many limits of the charge set down but yesternight, when all athwart there came a post from Wales loaden with heavy news, whose worst was that the noble Mortimer, leading the power of Herefordshire to fight against the irregular and wild Glendower, was by the rude hands of that Welshman taken.
It seems, then, that the tidings of this broil break off our business for the Holy Land.
This matched with other did, my gracious lord, for more uneven and unwelcome news came from the north, and thus it did import. On Holyrood Day, the gallant Hotspur there, young Harry Percy, and brave Douglas, that ever valiant and approved Scot, at Holmdon met, where they did spend a sad and bloody hour. But he that brought this in the very heat and pride of their contention did take horse, uncertain of the issue anyway.
Here is a dear and true industrious friend, Sir Walter Blunt, new lighted from his horse.
And I have brought you smooth and welcome news. The Countess Douglas is discomfited. 10,000 bold Scots, 22 knights, balked in their own blood did I see on Holmdon's plains. Of prisoners, Hotspur took Mordache, Earl of Fife, and eldest son to beaten Douglas, and the Earl of Atholl, of Murray, Angus, and Menteith.
And is not this an honourable spoil? A gallant prize, ha, cousin, is it not?
In faith, 'tis a conquest for a prince to boast of.
Yea, there thou makest me sad, and makest me sin in envy that my lord Northumberland should be the father to so blessed a son, whilst I, by looking on the praise of him, see riot and dishonour stain the brow of my young Harry. Oh, that it could be proved that some night-tripping fairy had exchanged in cradle clothes our children where they lay, and called mine Percy his Plantagenet. Then would I have his Harry, and he mine. But let him from my thoughts. What think you, coz, of this young Percy's pride? The prisoners which he in this adventure hath surprised, to his own use he keeps, and sends me word I shall have none but Mordache, Earl of Fife.
This is his aunt's teaching. This is Worcester, malevolent to you in all aspects, which makes him prune himself and bristle up the crest of youth against your dignity.
Well, I will send for him to answer this. And for this cause, awhile we must neglect our holy purpose to Jerusalem.
King Henry's royal power hangs by a thread. To make matters worse, his teenaged son Hal, despite now being Prince of Wales and heir to the throne, avoids all responsibility. His heedless lifestyle is encouraged by his most frequent companion, Sir John Falstaff.
Now, Hal, what time of day is it, lad?
Thou art so fat-witted with drinking of old sack and unbuttoning thee after supper and sleeping upon benches after noon that thou hast forgotten to demand that truly which thou wouldst truly know. What a devil hast thou to do with the time of the day? Unless hours were cups of sack, and minutes capons, and clocks are tongues of bawds, and dials the signs of leaping houses, and the blessed sun himself, a fair hot wench in flame-colored taffeta, I see no reason why thou shouldst be so superfluous to demand the time of the day.
Indeed, you come near me now, Hal, for we that take purses go by the moon and the 7 stars, and not by Phoebus, he that wandering knight so fair. And I prithee, sweet wag, when thou art king, let not us that are squires of the night's body be called thieves of the day's beauty. Let us be Diana's foresters, gentlemen of the shade, minions of the moon, and let men say we be men of good government, being governed as the sea is by our noble and chaste mistress, the moon, under whose countenance we steal.
Thou sayest well, and it holds well, too. For the fortune of us that are the moon's men doth ebb and flow like the sea, being governed as the sea is by the moon. As for proof now, a purse of gold most resolutely snatched on Monday night, and most dissolutely spent on Tuesday morning.
Do not thou, when thou art a king, hang a thief.
No, thou shalt.
Shall I? Oh, rare. By the Lord, I'll be a brave judge.
Thou judgest false already. I mean thou shalt have the hanging of the thieves, and so become a rare hangman.
Well, Hal, well, and in some sort it jumps with my humor as well as waiting in the court, I can tell you. But, Hal, I prithee, trouble me no more with vanity. Thou hast done much harm upon me, Hal. God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, Hal, I knew nothing, and now am I, if a man should speak truly, little better than one of the wicked. I must give over this life, and I will give it over, by the Lord. And I do not. I am a villain.
Where shall we take a purse tomorrow, Jack?
Zoons, where thou wilt, lad, I'll make one. And I do not call me villain and baffle me.
I see a good amendment of life in thee, from praying to purse-taking.
Why, Hal, 'tis my vocation, Hal. 'Tis no sin for a man to labor in his vocation. Poins! Now shall we know if Gadshill have set a match.
Good morrow.
Oh, if men were to be saved by merit, what hole in hell were hot enough for them? This is the most omnipotent villain that ever cried, "Stand!" to a true man.
What says Monsieur Remorse? What says Sir John Sack and Sugar? Jack, how agrees the devil in thee about thy soul that thou soldest him on Good Friday last for a cup of Madeira and a cold capon's leg?
Sir John stands to his word. He'll give the devil his due.
Then art thou damned for keeping thy word with the devil?
Else he'd been damned for cousining the devil.
But, my lads, tomorrow morning by 4 o'clock early at Gadshill, there are pilgrims going to Canterbury with rich offerings, and traders riding to London with fat purses. I have vizards for you all. You have horses for yourselves. We may do it as secure as sleep. If you will go, I will stuff your purses full of crowns. If you will not, tarry at home and be hanged.
Hal, wilt thou make one?
Who? I, Rob? I, a thief? Not I, by my faith.
There's neither honesty, manhood, nor good fellowship in thee, nor thou camest not of the blood royal, if thou darest not stand for 10 shillings.
Well, come what will, I'll tarry at home.
By the Lord, I'll be a traitor when thou art king.
I care not.
Sir John, I prithee, leave the prince and me alone. I will lay him down such reasons for this adventure that he shall go.
Well, God give thee the spirit of persuasion and him the ears of profiting, that what thou speakst may move, and what he hears may be believed, that the true prince may, for recreation's sake, prove a false thief. Farewell, you shall find me in Eastcheap.
Farewell, thou latter spring. Farewell, all hallown summer.
Now, my good sweet honey lord, ride with us tomorrow. I have a jest to execute that I cannot manage alone. Falstaff, Peto, Bardolph, and Gadshill shall rob those that we have already waylaid. Yourself and I will not be there. And when they have the booty... When they have the booty, if you and I do not rob them, cut this head off from my shoulders.
But 'tis like that they will know us by our horses, by our habits, and by every other appointment to be ourselves.
Tut! Our horses they shall not see. I'll tie them in the wood. Our vizards we will change after we leave them.
But I doubt they'll be too hard for us.
Well, for 2 of them I know them to be as true-bred cowards as ever turned back. And for the third, if he fight longer than he sees reason, I'll forswear arms. The virtue of this jest will be the incomprehensible lies that this same fat rogue will tell us when we meet at supper. How 30 at least he fought with, what wards, what blows, what extremities he endured. And in the reproof of this lies the jest.
Well, I'll go with thee. Provide us all things necessary, and meet me tomorrow night in Eastcheap. There I'll sup.
Farewell.
Farewell, my lord.
I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, they wished for come. So, when this loose behavior I throw off, and pay the debt I never promised, by how much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's hopes, and like bright metal in a sullen ground, my reformation, glittering o'er my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so offend to make offense a skill, redeeming time when you think least I will.
King Henry summons the Percy family to court to answer for their recent actions. Their once close friendship has been strained by Harry Hotspur Percy's refusal to hand over his Scottish prisoners. Hotspur believes his family should receive the ransom due for these prisoners because his father and his aunt, the Earl of Northumberland and the Countess of Worcester, laid out substantial funds to bring Henry to the throne.
My blood hath been too cold and temperate, unapt to stir at these indignities, and you have found me, for accordingly you tread upon my
Our
patience.
house, my sovereign liege, little deserves the scourge of greatness to be used on it, and that same greatness too which our own hands have helped to make so.
My lord.
Worcester, get thee gone, for I do see danger and disobedience in thine eye. You have good leave to leave us. When we need your use and counsel, we shall send for you. You were about to speak.
Yea, my good lord. Those prisoners, in your highness' name demanded, which Harry Percy here at Holmdon took, were, as he says, not with such strength denied as is delivered to your majesty. Either envy, therefore, or misprision is guilty of this fault, and not my son.
My liege, I did deny no prisoners. But I remember, when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint, leaning upon my sword, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed. He was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a pouncet box, which ever and anon he gave his nose, and tooked away again, and as the soldiers bore dead bodies by, he called them untaught knaves, unmannerly, to bring a slovenly, unhandsome corpse betwixt the wind and his nobility. With many holiday and lady terms he questioned me. Amongst the rest, demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting with my wounds being cold, to be so pestered with a popinjay, out of my grief and my impatience answered neglectingly, I know not what, he should or he should not, for he made me mad. And I beseech you, let not his report come current for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
The circumstance considered, good my lord, whate'er Lord Harry Percy then had said to such a person and in such a place, at such a time, with all the rest retold, may reasonably die and never rise to do him wrong, or any way impeach what then he said, so he unsay it now.
Why, yet he doth deny his prisoners, but with proviso and exception, that we at our own charge shall ransom straight his brother-in-law, the foolish Mortimer, who on my soul hath wilfully betrayed the lives of those that he did lead to fight against that great magician, damned Glendower, whose daughter, as we hear, that Earl of March, hath lately married. Shall our coffers then be empty to redeem a traitor home? No. On the barren mountains let him starve.
He never did fall off, my sovereign liege, but by the chance of war. To prove that true needs no more but one tongue for all those wounds, those mouthed wounds, which valiantly he took when on the gentle Severn's sedgy bank in single opposition, hand to hand, he did confound the best part of an hour in changing hardiment with great Glendower. Then let him not be slandered with revolt.
Thou dost belie him, Percy, thou dost belie him. He never did encounter with Glendower. I tell thee, he durst as well have met the devil alone as Owen Glendower for an enemy. Art thou not ashamed? But, sirrah, henceforth let me not hear you speak of Mortimer. Send me your prisoners with the speediest means, or you shall hear in such a kind from me as will displease you. My lord Northumberland, we license your departure with your son. Send us your prisoners, or you will hear of it.
And if the devil come and roar for them, I will not send them. I will after straight and tell him so, for I will ease my heart, although it be with hazard of my head.
What, drunk with choler? Stay and pause a while. Here comes your honor.
Speak of Mortimer? Zoons, I will speak of him. And let my soul want mercy if I do not join with him. In his behalf, I'll empty all these veins and shed my dear blood, drop by drop, in the dust. But I will lift the downtrodden Mortimer as high in the air as this unthankful king, as this ingrate and cankered Bolingbroke.
Sister, the king hath made your nephew mad.
What struck this heat up after I was gone?
He will, forsooth, have all my prisoners. And when I urged the ransom once again of my wife's brother, then his cheek looked pale, and on my face he turned an eye of death, trembling even at the name of Mortimer.
I cannot blame him. Was not he proclaimed by Richard that dead is the next of blood?
But soft, I pray you. Did King Richard then proclaim my brother-in-law, Edmund Mortimer, heir to the crown?
He did. Myself did hear it.
Nay then, I cannot blame his cousin king that wished him on the barren mountains starve. But shall it be that you that set the crown upon the head of this forgetful man, and for his sake wear the detested blot of murderous subornation, shall it be that you a world of curses undergo? Shall it for shame be spoken in these days that ones of your nobility and power did gauge them both in an unjust behalf to put down Richard, that sweet, lovely rose, and plant this thorn, this canker, Bolingbroke? And shall it in more shame be further spoken that you are fooled, discarded, and shook off by him for whom these shames you underwent? No! Yet time serves wherein you may redeem your banished honors and restore yourselves into the good thoughts of the world again. Therefore, I say...
Peace, cousin. Say no more. And now I will unclasp a secret book, and to your quick conceiving discontents, I'll read you matter deep and dangerous.
Send danger from the east into the west, so honor cross it from the north to south, and let them grapple. Oh, the blood more stirs to rouse a lion than to start a hare.
Good cousin, give me audience for a while.
I cry you mercy.
Those same noble Scots that are your prisoners.
I'll keep them all. By God, he shall not have a Scot of them. No, if a Scot would save his soul, he shall not. I'll keep them by this hand.
You start away and lend no ear unto my purposes. Now those prisoners you shall keep.
Nay, I will. That's flat. He said he would not ransom Mortimer, forbade my tongue to speak of Mortimer, but I will find him when he lies asleep, and in his ear I'll holla, Mortimer.
Farewell, kinsman. I'll talk to you when you are better tempered to attend.
Why, what a wasp-stung and impatient fool art thou to break into this woman's mood, tying thine ear to no tongue but thine own.
Why, look you, I am whipped and scourged with rods, nettled and stung with pismires when I hear of this vile politician Bolingbroke. In Richard's time, what do you call the place? 'Twas where the madcap Duke, his uncle kept, his Uncle York, where I first bowed my knee unto this king of smiles, this Bolingbroke.
At Berkeley Castle.
You say true. Why, what a candy deal of courtesy this fawning greyhound then did proffer me. Oh, look when his infant fortune come to age, and gentle Harry Percy, and kind cousin. Oh, the devil take such cousiners! God forgive me. Good aunt, now tell your tale, for I have done.
Nay, if you have not, to it again. We will stay your
I
measure.
have done! I' faith.
Then once more to your Scottish prisoners. Deliver them up without their ransom straight, and make the Douglas son your only mean for powers in Scotland, which for divers reasons, which I shall send you written, be assured will easily be granted. You, my lord, your son in Scotland being thus employed, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate, well beloved, the Archbishop.
Of York, is it not?
True, who bears hard his brother's death at Oxford, the Lord Scroop. I speak not this in estimation as what I think might be, but what I know is ruminated, plotted, and set down.
Why, it cannot choose but be a noble plot. And then the power of Scotland and of York to join with Mortimer? Ah!
And so they shall.
In faith, it is exceedingly well aimed.
Cousin, farewell. No further go in this than I by letter shall direct your course. When time is ripe, which will be suddenly, I'll steal to Glendower and Lord Mortimer, where you and Douglas and our powers at once, as I will fashion it, shall happily meet to bear our fortunes in our own strong arms, which now we hold at much uncertainty.
Farewell, good sister. We shall thrive, I trust.
My aunt, adieu. Oh, let the hours be short, till fields and blows and groans applaud our sport.
Oblivious to the trouble brewing in the English court, Prince Hal and Poins make plans for the robbery. Early the next morning, their friend Gadshill heads to a roadside inn some ways from London to gather intel on their intended victims.
What ho, Chamberlain!
Good morrow, Madam Gadshill. It holds current that I told you yesterday. There's a Franklin in the wild of Kent hath brought 300 marks with him in gold. I heard him tell it to one of his company last night at supper. They are up already and call for eggs and butter. They will weigh presently.
Oh, sirrah, if they meet not with St. Nicholas clerks, I'll give thee this neck.
Oh, no, I'll none of it. I pray thee, keep that for the hangman, for I know thou worshipest St. Nicholas as truly as any of falsehood may.
What talkst thou to me of the hangman? If I hang, I'll make a fat pair of gallows, for if I hang, old Sir John hangs with me, and thou knowest he is no starveling. Tut, tut. There are other Trojans that thou dreamst not of, the which, for sport's sake, are content to do the profession some grace, that would, if matters should be looked into, for their own credit's sake, make all whole. Give me thy hand. Thou shalt have a share in our purpose, as I am a true maid.
Nay, rather let me have it, as you are a false thief.
Oh, farewell, you muddy knave.
Come, shelter, shelter! I have removed Falstaff's horse and he frets like a gummed velvet.
Stand close.
Poins! Poins and be hanged! Poins!
Peace, you fat-kidneyed rascal. What a brawling dost thou keep?
Where's Poins, Hal?
They are walked up to the top of the hill. I'll go seek them.
Shh! I am accursed to rob in that thief's company. The rascal hath removed my horse and tied him I know not where. Well, I doubt not but to die a fair death for all this, if I escape hanging for killing that rogue. Poins! Hal! A plague upon you both. Bardolph! Peto! I'll starve ere I rob a foot further. 8 yards of uneven ground is 70 miles afoot with me, and the stony-hearted villains know it well enough. A plague upon it when thieves cannot be true one to another. Plague upon you all! Give me my horse, you rogues! Give me my horse and be hanged.
Peace, you fat guts! Lie down, lay thine ear close to the ground, and list if thou canst hear the tread of travelers.
Have you any levers to lift me up again, being down? The plague mean you to colt me thus?
Thou liest. Thou wert not colted. Thou art uncolted.
So I do, against my will.
Oh, 'tis our setter. I know her voice.
What news?
On with your vizards. There's money of the king's coming down the hill. 'Tis going to the king's exchequer.
You lie, you rogue. 'Tis going to the king's tavern.
You four shall front them in the narrow lane. Ned and I will walk lower. If they escape from your encounter, then they light on us.
How many be there of them?
Some 8 or 10.
Zoons, will they not rob us?
What, a coward, Sir John Paunch?
Indeed, I am not John of Gaunt, your grandfather. Yet no coward, Hal.
Well, we leave that to the proof.
Farewell, and stand fast.
Ned, where are our disguises?
Here, hard by, stand close.
Come, neighbor. The boys shall lead our horses down the hill. We'll walk afoot a while and ease our legs.
Strike! done!
The thieves have bound the true men. Now could thou and I rob the thieves and go merrily to London? It would be argument for a week, laughter for a month, and a good jest forever.
Come,
Stand close, I hear them coming.
share, and then to horse before day. And the prince and Poins be not two errant cowards, there's no equity stirring. There's no more valor in that Poins than in a wild duck. Your money!
Got with much ease. Now merrily to horse. The thieves are scattered and possessed with fear so strongly that they dare not meet each other. Each takes their fellow for an officer. Away, good Ned. Falstaff sweats to death and lards the lean earth as he walks along. Were it not for laughing, I should pity him.
How the rogue roared!
Leaving the travelers bound and defenseless on the side of the road, Prince Hal and Poins returned to London. In the north, instead of sleeping, Hotspur reads a letter in secret.
But for mine own part, my lord, I could be well contented to be there, in respect of the love I bear your house. He could be contented? Why is he not, then? In respect of the love he bears our house, he shows in this he loves his own barn better than he loves our house. Let me see some more. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. The friends you have named uncertain, the time itself unsorted, and your whole plot too light for the counterpoise of so great an opposition. Say you so? Say you so? I say unto you again, you are a shallow, cowardly hind, and you lie. By the Lord, our plot is as good a plot as ever was laid. Our friends, true and constant. A good plot, good friends, and full of expectation. An excellent plot. Very good friends. Zooms! And I were now by this rascal, I could brain him with his lady's fan. Is there not my father, my aunt, and myself, Lord Edmund Mortimer, the Archbishop of York, and Owen Glendower? Is there not besides the Douglas? Have I not all their letters to meet me in arms by the 9th of the next month, and are they not some of them set forward already? What a frosty-spirited rogue is this? Huh. You shall see now, in very sincerity of fear and cold heart, will he to the king, and lay open all our proceedings. Hang him. Let him tell the king. We are prepared. I will set forward tonight. How now, Kate? I must leave you within these 2 hours.
Oh, my good lord, why are you thus alone? For what offense have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is that takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep? Why hast thou lost the fresh blood in thy cheeks, and given my treasures and my rights of thee to thick-eyed musing and cursed melancholy? In thy faint slumbers I by thee have watched, and heard thee murmur tales of iron wars, cry courage to the field, and thou hast talked of sallies and retires, of trenches, tents, of prisoners' ransom, and of soldiers slain, and all the currents of a heady fight. Thy spirit within thee hath been so at war, and thus hath so bestirred thee in thy sleep, that beads of sweat have stood upon thy brow like bubbles in a late disturbed stream. Some heavy business hath my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not.
What ho! Is Gilliams with the packet gone?
He is, my lord, an hour ago.
Hath Butler brought those horses from the sheriff?
1 horse, my lord, he brought even now.
That roan shall be my throne. Well, I will back him straight. Bid Butler lead him forth into the park.
But hear you, my lord.
What sayest thou, my lady?
What is it carries you away?
My horse, my love, my horse.
Out, you mad-headed ape! I'll know your business, Harry, that I will. I fear my brother Mortimer doth stir about his title, and hath sent for you to line his enterprise, but if you go—
So far afoot, I shall be weary, love.
Come, you parakeeto! Answer me directly unto this question that I shall ask. In faith, I'll break thy little finger, Harry, and if thou wilt not tell me all things true—
Away, you trifler! Love, I love thee not! I care not for thee, Kate. This is no world to play with mammoths and to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses and cracked crowns and pass them current, too. God's me! My horse! What sayest thou, Kate? What wouldst thou have with me?
Do you not love me? Do you not indeed? Well, do not then, for since you love me not, I will not love myself. Do you not love me? Nay, tell me if you speak in jest or no.
Come, wilt thou see me ride? And when I am a horseback, I will swear I love thee infinitely. But hark you, Kate. I must not have you henceforth question me whither I go, nor reason whereabout. Whither I must. And to conclude, this evening must I leave you, gentle Kate. I know you wise, but yet no farther wise than Harry Percy's wife. Constant you are, but yet a woman, and for secrecy no lady closer, for I well believe thou wilt not utter what thou dost not know, and so far will I trust thee, gentle Kate.
How? So far?
Not an inch further. But hark you, Kate, whither I go, thither shall you go too. Today will I set forth, tomorrow you. Will this content you, Kate?
It must, of force.
Back in London at Mistress Quickly's tavern, Prince Hal and Ned Poins celebrate the success of their prank.
Ned! Prithee, come out of that fat room and lend me thy hand to laugh a little.
Where hast been, Hal?
With 3 or 4 loggerheads amongst 3 or 4 score hogsheads, I have sounded the very bass string of humility. Sirrah, I am sworn brother to a leash of drawers. I tell thee, Ned, thou hast lost much honor that thou wert not with me in this action. But, sweet Ned, to sweeten which name of Ned, I give thee this pennyworth of sugar, clapped even now into my hand by one that never spake other English in her life than 8 shillings and 6 pence, and you are welcome, with this shrill addition, anon, sir. But, Ned, to drive away the time till Falstaff come, I prithee, do thou stand in some by-room while I question my puny drawer to what end she gave me the sugar, and do thou never leave calling Francis, that her tale to me may be nothing but anon.
Francis!
Thou art perfect.
Francis!
Anon, sir. Look down into the pomegranate room, Ralph.
I will. Come hither, Francis.
My lord.
How long hast thou left to serve, Francis?
Oh, forsooth, 5 years and as much to...
Francis!
Anon, sir.
5 years? By Our Lady, a long lease for the clinking of pewter. But, Francis, darest thou be so valiant as to play the coward with thy indenture, and show it a fair pair of heels, and run from it?
Oh, Lord, sir, I'll be sworn upon all the books in England I could find in my heart.
Francis!
Anon, sir.
How old art thou, Francis?
Oh, let me see. About Michaelmas next I shall
Francis!
be. Anon, sir. Pray you stay a little, my lord.
Nay, but hark you, Francis, for the sugar thou gavest me, 'twas a pennyworth, was't not?
Oh, Lord, sir, I would it had been 2.
I will give thee for it 1,000 pound. Ask me when thou wilt, and thou shalt have it.
Francis!
Anon.
Anon, Francis?
Francis!
No, Francis, but tomorrow, Francis. Or Francis, a Thursday, or indeed, Francis, when thou wilt, but Francis!
My lord.
Francis!
Away, you rogue. Dost thou not hear them call?
Francis! What? Stand thou still and hear such a calling? Look to the guests within. My lord, old Sir John with half a dozen more are at the door. Shall I let them in?
Let them alone a while, and then open the door. Poins!
Anon, sir.
Sirrah, Falstaff and the rest of the thieves are at the door. Shall we be merry?
As merry as crickets, my lad.
But,
hark you, what cunning match have you made with this jest of the drawer? Come, what's the issue?
What's the clock, Francis?
Anon, sir.
That ever this drawer should have fewer words than a parrot, and yet the spring of a woman. I am not yet of Percy's mind, the hot spur of the north. He that kills me some 6 or 7 dozen of Scots at a breakfast, washes his hands, and says to his wife, "Fie upon this quiet life, I won't work." I prithee, call in Falstaff. I'll play Percy, and that damned Brawn shall play damn Mortimer, his wife. Call in Ribs, call in Tallow.
Welcome, Jack. Where hast thou been?
Plague of all cowards, I say, and a vengeance too.
Marry and amen.
Give me a cup of sack, girl. Is there no virtue extant? Go thy ways, old Jack. Die when thou wilt. There lives not 3 good men unhanged in England, and one of them is fat and grows old. God help the while. A plague of all cowards, I say still.
Marry and amen.
Why, you horsing round, man? What's the matter?
Are not you a coward? Answer me to that, and Poins there.
Soons, you fat paunch. And you call me coward? By the Lord, I'll stab thee.
I call thee coward? I'll see thee damned ere I call thee coward. But I would give £1,000 I could run as fast as thou canst. Give me a cup of sack. I'm a rogue if I drunk today.
Oh, villain, thy lips are scarce wiped since thou drunkst last.
All's one for that. A plague of all cowards, still say I.
Marry and amen.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? There be 4 of us here have ta'en £1,000 this morning.
4 of us.
Where is it, Jack? Where is it?
Where is it? Taken from us it is, 100 upon poor 4 of us.
Taken from us.
What, 100, man?
I'm a rogue if I were not at half-sword with 12 of them, 2 hours together.
2 hours. Hey.
I escaped by miracle. I am 8 times thrust through the doublet, 4 through the hose, my buckler cut through and through, my sword hacked like a handsaw. A plague of all cowards.
Marry and amen.
Let them speak. If they speak more or less than truth, they are villains and the sons of darkness.
Speak, friends. How was it?
We 4 set upon some dozen.
16 at least, my lord.
And bound them.
No, they were not
You
bound.
rogue, they were bound, every one of them.
As we were sharing, some 6 or 7 more set upon us.
And unbound the rest, and then come in the other.
What, fought you with them all?
All? I know not what you call all, but if I fought not with 50 of them, I'm a bunch of radish.
Radish!
Pray God you have not murdered some of them.
Nay, that's past praying for. I have peppered 2 of them. 2, I am sure I have paid 2 rogues in buckram suits. Here I lay, and thus I bore my point. 4 rogues in buckram let drive at me.
What, 4? Thou saidst but 2 even now.
4, Hal, I told thee 4.
Aye, he said 4.
And these 4 came all affront and mainly thrust at me. I made me no more ado, but took all their 7 points in my target, thus.
7? Why, there were but 4 even now.
Buckram.
Aye, 4 in buckram suits.
7 by these hilts, or I'm a villain else.
Prithee, let him alone. We shall have more anon.
Dost thou hear me, Hal?
Aye, and mark thee too, Jack.
Do so, for it is worth the listening to these 9 in buckram that I told thee of.
So
Began
2 more
to
already.
give me ground, but I followed me close, came in, fort in hand, and with a thought. 7 of the 11 I paid.
Monstrous. 11 buckram suits grown out of 2.
As the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten knaves in Kendall Green came at my back and let drive at me. For it was so dark, Hal, that thou couldst not see thy hand.
These lies are like the father that begets them. Gross as a mountain, open, palpable. Why, thou clay-brained guts, thou naughty-pated fool, thou whoreson, obscene, greasy tallow cat.
Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?
Why, how couldst thou know these thieves in Kendall Green when it was so dark thou couldst not see thy hand?
Oh.
Come, tell us your reason. What sayest thou to this?
Come, your reason, Jack. Your reason.
What, upon compulsion? If reasons were as plentiful as blackberries, I'd give no one a reason upon compulsion,
I'll be no longer guilty of this sin. This sanguine coward, this bed presser, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of
starveling,
flesh.
you eel skin, you dried neat's tongue, you bull's pizzle, you duck pizzle, tailor's guard, you sheath, you poker.
Well, breathe a while, and then to it again. And when thou hast tired thyself in base comparisons, hear me speak but this.
Mark, Jack.
We two saw you four set on two, and bound them and were masters of their wealth. Mark now how a plain tale shall put you down. Then did we two set on you four, and with a word outfaced you from your prize, and have it, yea, and can show it you here in the house. And Falstaff, you carried your guts away as nimbly, with as quick dexterity, and roared for mercy, and still rod and roared as ever I heard bull calf. What trick, what device, what starting hole canst thou now find out to hide thee from this open and apparent shame?
Come, let's hear, Jack. What trickest thou now?
By the Lord, I knew you as well as he that made you. Why, hear you, my lads. Was it for me to kill the heir apparent? Why, thou knowest I am as valiant as Hercules. But beware instinct. The lion will not touch the true prince. No. I shall think the better of myself and thee during my life. I for a valiant lion, and thou for a true prince. But by the Lord, lads, I'm glad you have the money. What? Shall we be merry? Hey!
Sing with thy mouth, sing with thy heart, like faithful friends, sing low to depart. Sing with thy mouth, sing with thy heart, like faithful friends, sing low to depart. Though friends together may not always remain, yet loath to depart, sing once again. Sing with thy mouth, sing with thy heart, like faithful friends, sing low to depart.
Shall we have a play extempore?
Oh, Jesu, my lord the prince!
How now, my lady the hostess? What sayest thou to me?
Marry, my lord, there's a nobleman of the court at door would speak with you. He says he comes from your father.
Give him as much as'll make him a royal man, and send him back again to my mother.
Oh.
Shall I give him his answer?
Prithee do, Jack.
Faith, and I'll send him packing.
Now, friends, by Our Lady, you fought fair. So did you, Peto. So did you, Bardolph. You are lions, too. You ran away upon instinct.
Faith, I ran when I saw others run.
Faith, tell me now in earnest, how came Falstaff's sword so hacked?
Why, he hacked it with his dagger and said he would swear truth out of England, but he would make you believe it was done in fight. And persuaded us to do the like.
Yea, and to tickle our noses with spear grass to make them bleed, and then to beslubber our garments with it. I did that, I did not. This 7 years before, I blushed to hear his monstrous devices.
Oh, villain. Thou stolest a cup of sack 18 years ago, and wert taken with the manor, and ever since thou hast blushed extempore. Here comes lean Jack, here comes bare bone. How now, my sweet creature of bombast?
There's villainous news abroad. You must go to the court in the morning. That same mad fellow of the north, Percy, and he of Wales that made Lucifer cuckold, how would a plague call you him?
Owen Glendower.
Owen the same, and his son-in-law Mortimer, and old Northumberland, and that sprightly Scot of Scots, Douglas, that runs a horseback up a hill perpendicular, she's there too. Thy father's beard is turned white with the news. Thou being heir apparent, could the world pick thee out 3 such enemies again as that fiend, Douglas, that spirit, Percy, and that devil, Glendower? Art thou not horribly afraid? Doth not thy blood thrill at it?
Not a whit, i' faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, thou wilt be horribly chid tomorrow when thou comest to thy father. If thou do love me, practice an answer.
Do thou stand for my father and examine me upon the particulars of my life.
Shall I?
Yes!
Content. This chair shall be my state, this dagger my scepter, and this cushion my crown. Give me a cup of sack to make my eyes look red, that it may be thought I have wept, for I must speak in passion.
Well, here is my leg.
And here is my speech. Stand aside, nobility!
Oh, Jesu, this is excellent sport of faith.
Weep not. sweet queen, for trickling tears are vain.
Oh, the father, how he holds his countenance!
For God's sake, lords, convey my tristful queen, for tears do stop the floodgates of her eyes.
Oh, Jesu, he doth it as like one of these harlotry players as
Peace!
ever I see.
Good pint pot! Peace, good tickle brain.
Tickle brain?
Harry! I do not only marvel where thou spendest thy time, but also how thou art accompanied. There is a thing, Harry, which thou hast often heard of, and it is known to many in our land by the name of pitch. This pitch, as ancient writers do report, doth defile, so doth the company thou keepest. And yet, there is a virtuous man whom I have often noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of man, and it like your majesty?
A goodly, portly man, i'faith, and a corpulent, of a cheerful look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble carriage, and as I think his age some 50, or by a lady inclining to threescore. And now I remember me, his name is Falstaff. If that man should be lewdly given, he deceiveth me, for Harry, I see virtue in his looks. Him keep with, the rest banish. And tell me now, thou naughty varlet, tell me where hast thou been this month?
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me, and I'll play my father.
Depose me? If thou dost it half so gravely, so majestically, both in word and matter, hang me up by the heels for a rabbit sucker or a poulter's hair.
Well, here I am set.
And here I stand, judge, my master.
Now, Harry, whence come you?
My noble lord from East
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Blood, my lord, they are false! Tickle you for a young prince, i'faith.
Swearest thou? Ungracious boy, henceforth ne'er look on me. Thou art violently carried away from grace. There is a devil haunts thee in the likeness of an old fat man. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humours, that bolting hutch of beastliness, that huge bombard of sack, that stuffed cloak bag of guts, that grey iniquity, that vanity in years? Wherein is he good but to taste sack and drink it? Wherein cunning but in craft? Wherein crafty but in villainy? Wherein villainous but in all things? Wherein worthy but in nothing?
I would your grace would take me with you. Who means your grace?
That villainous, abominable misleader of youth, that old white-bearded Satan.
Falstaff!
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say I know more harm in him than in myself were to say more than I know. That he is old, the more the pity. His white hairs do witness it. If sack and sugar be a fault, God help the wicked. No, my good lord, banish Peto. Banish Bardolph.
Hey!
Banish Poins. But for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant, being as he is old Jack Falstaff. Banish not him thy Harry's company. Banish not him thy Harry's company. Banish plump Jack, and banish all the world.
I do. I will.
Oh, Jesu, my lord, my lord.
What's the matter?
The sheriff and all the watch are at the door. They are come to search the house. Shall I let them in?
Go hide thee behind the arras. The rest walk up above. Now, my masters, for a true face and good conscience.
Both of which I have had, but their date is out, and therefore I'll hide me.
Call in the sheriff. Now, Madam Sheriff, what is your will with me?
First pardon me, my lord. A hue and cry hath followed certain men unto this house.
What men?
One of them is well known, my gracious lord, a gross fat man.
The man, I do assure you, is not here, for I myself at this time have employed him. And, Sheriff, I will engage my word to thee that I will by tomorrow dinner time send him to answer thee or any man for anything he shall be charged withal. And so let me entreat you leave the house.
I will, my lord. There are 2 travelers have in this robbery lost 300 marks.
It may be so. If he have robbed these 2, he shall be answerable. And so, farewell.
Good night, my noble lord.
I think it is good morrow, is it not?
Indeed, my lord, I think it be 2 o'clock.
This oily rascal is known as well as St. Paul's. Go call him forth.
Falstaff!
Shh.
Fast asleep behind the arras and snorting like a horse.
Hark, how hard he fetches breath. Search his pockets. What hast thou found?
Nothing but papers, my lord.
Well, let's see what they be. Read them.
Item, a capon, 2 shillings, 2d. Item sauce, 4d. Item sack, 2 gallons, 5 shillings, 8d. Item anchovies and sack after supper, 2 shillings, 6d. Item bread, a halfpenny.
Oh, monstrous! But 1 halfpenny worth of bread to this intolerable deal of sack. What there is else keep close. We'll read it at more advantage. There let him sleep till day. I'll to the court in the morning. We must all to the wars. And thy place shall be honorable. I'll procure this fat rogue a charge afoot, and I know his death will be a march of 12 score. The money shall be paid back again with advantage. Be with me betimes in the morning, and so good morrow, Peto.
Good morrow, good my lord.
You've been listening to Shakespeare's Histories, Season 1, The King's Shadow, presented by Brave Spirits Theatre, directed by Charlene V. Smith. This recording is produced and edited by Patrick Flynn.